Sarah said, I'm going to register a pay bill so that the money that is sent to the pay bill, this money is going to be accounted for. In a space before he even said, the money you're sending to my phone number, Nini, you're giving that money to me as a gift. And I had been on his DM for clarity on the same. So even if he tells people, and I hope he needs to now focus on civil education, because the train has already left the station. He needs to focus on civil education and allow those who want to focus on tearing him down to do a good job. When finally there's victory, people will realize. But in the meantime, people will continue pulling down. I've been in so many spaces and everybody has something negative. Even before we start sending him money, analyze those tweets and tell me whether it's genuine. Kenyans have a problem. I learned.
Let's hear. Thank you so much for that. Let's hear from Western.
Bluetooth connected.
Germany. Okay, so Ewa China now. Anyway, I want to hear from Clinton. Then I'll go to Western and then Luca. And then I see some victors in the building. Clinton, talk to me.
Good evening, Mr. Pipi.
Good evening, bro.
It's been a while tangu ni join space, but here I am. So I like where the conversation is going. It's educative, and the fact that everybody is giving different divergent opinion makes it to be interactive. Before I go to the Morara issue, I have one problem with this country. You see, one thing about us Kenyans, we don't learn. We never learn, and there is no day we will ever learn. We act like zombies when it comes to elections. Before election and after elections, we act like people who are civilized. Like we know that this thing was going to happen, but oh, we did it because we had no choice. Or oh, we did it because we're trying to punish someone. Then when things start going hellway, that's now we go back to the drawing board and act like now we are civilized people, it won't happen again. But now when elections come, we go back to the same issue. I want to give you a good example of the political heat that is happening in Kenya right now. Back in 2021, 2020, the same thing that is happening in Kenya is going to happen in 2027. You understand? People are using advantage of the fact that this government is, is in a limbo. People are suffering. Kenyans are crying. But there are people who are called opportunistics. You get? People who take advantage of situations. A good example of those kind of people is the guy called Morara, the other one called G. Casmuel, and the other one called, I don't know.
There are a lot of things you can pick in life, just not your age or medical conditions.
So hii family iko na asthma, iko na diabetes na iko na arthritis. Itabidi mmefanya medical exam kwanza. Sana sana kabla mzee afike 60. Na pia preconditions ziko na limits.
If she was getting Shwari medical cover, hangekuwa na easy stress. Because with Shwari, una access full limit kutumia unavyohitaji. Ukiona Shwari, utawahi sikia umepitisha limit ya preconditions na bado uko na pesa imebaki. Bonyeza *371# kuchukua Shwari medical cover leo.
We listen. Okay? Hello, Pipi.
Continue.
Yes. I'm hearing somebody is asking me a question, and I'll go there. I'm tired, and even people are tired of others who just want to be rich in the name of civic education. Unaona? Wewe unataka uchangiwe do, ununue gari, ununue nyumba, ufanye hivi just because unasimama kwa gari yako unaambia watu hii barabara ilifai jengwe hivi lakini haikujengwa. The people who voted for the guys who were supposed to make that road, they know the mistake they did. Thing unafanya is just you're trying to show them that okay, you guys voted for this guy, but instead mungepigia huyu. And there is nothing worse than somebody who's an activist mwenye anataka kuwa politician. Look at Boniface Mwangi, for example, bro. Tangu nikwe mdogo nianze kukua social media, I've been hearing about Boniface Mwangi being an activist. Oh, nini? Amewahi succeed kwa political arena? Hakuna siku. Kenyans ni wale, bro. The moment they see, you're going beyond of what they told you to do, what I go against you. And I want you to know, you watch this space. Mr. Morara mwenyewe personally hata yanajua, his fame is just short-lived. Within a couple of months, nobody will be talking about that guy. So when I hear people being emotional here, talking about, oh, we should support that guy, oh, we support him for what? Thank you. I don't support that guy.
Haya, huyo ni maoni ya Clinton. Unajua, one thing about being a space host, you have to listen to both sides of the platform. Inakwanga nzito lakini unazoea at some point. Bwana Western Shilaho.
Hi, Pipita, to pick from where Clinton left. Pipita, you know, if you don't want to be scrutinized, you lead a private life. You lead a private life. The moment you aspire for public office, you don't have a private life. You don't. It's as simple as that. And people will put you under the microscope and ask you even the most minute of questions. Yeah, and especially in public life, because it's their taxes that sustain you. And if you're a president, Pipita, can you imagine a president, once you hold that office, even if it's for a day or a week, you enjoy privileges for the rest of your life. How many people have got those opportunities in life? And therefore, somebody who aspires to be a president, you want to tell me they should not be scrutinized. Like, where is the logic? And then when questions are asked, you reduce those questions to personalities. I'm saying we should stop doing personality-based politics. It's taking us nowhere. It has taken us nowhere. The questions Morari is being asked because he has expressed interest in the highest office in the land. And with that office, you can mess up people's lives, and millions of them. Or you can advance people's lives. This is not like your homestead, where whatever decisions you make there is your decisions and your family. Or if those things are criminal, the police will intervene. But these are state affairs, state matters of life and death. The policies you put in place, the decisions you put in place, how the people work under you, including the Inspector General of Police, and also how they behave, can dictate whether some people live or die. Whether when some people leave home to go to the streets will end up in the morgue or they'll go back home. So this is not a small matter to trivialize and just say, no, why do we have this Shakahola-like mindset? Just you believe. No, Jesus is not coming tomorrow. The world is not ending tomorrow, please. To be rational is not to be negative. To ask pertinent questions is not to undermine anybody or to be jealous or to kutaka kuchukua nyota ya mtu, whatever that means. It's because personalities have messed us up. We want institutions. So that if I read Miguna here, he says something here, and I do agree with him. He says, forming political parties within the systematically polluted and manipulated political environment inevitably transforms all political actors into conmen. He's right. How many people have been elected to parliament with this promise that they're going to change things? And then soon we realize, no, these are conmen and women. No, these are just minions. They are to do the bidding of the executive. They've been bought. They receive brown envelopes, I don't know, in toilets and what have you. They no longer serve the interests of the constituent. Why do we think that the people who are aspiring now will be any different? Like how? You kidding me? You kidding me? And that's why when Clinton says we don't learn, amnesia, it's called amnesia. It is our enduring deficiency in Kenya. And this propensity to think that there are messiahs and saviors and that there are good people and bad people. We don't want good leaders. We want people who, if they choose to be wrong, institutions will be there to hold them to account and to take them to court. Americans don't fear Donald Trump because they know he can't be bigger than the Constitution. He cannot be bigger than the institutions. They know that. So they're not scared of him. But we have every reason to be concerned about somebody who wants to occupy office, because we don't have institutions to hold those people to account. So we better know if they betray any whiff of the traits and attributes of people we had in the past, we discard them immediately. We discard them immediately, rather than waiting to see how will they behave once they get it. No, Morena says, I know William Ruto so well. Where did you get to know William Ruto? Is William Ruto your peer? Did you go to school together? I mean, how he says it with a straight face that I know and understand William Ruto. So you don't. That's naivety. You don't. Because Daniel Moi thought he knew William Ruto. He did not. Raila Odinga thought he knew William Ruto. He realized he didn't. Uhuru Kenyatta the other day, he thought he knew William Ruto. No, he did not. So is it you who wants to tell us that you know William Ruto? Like from where? Since when? What does that mean? So it's this naivety I'm saying, and this politics doesn't need that. It needs humility and the ability to listen, and the ability to listen to people who are telling you things that you don't want to hear. This democracy thing, Pepita, as it's been introduced since the early 90s, actually it's a scam. It's a scam. And it has reduced even elections to a scam. Why is it a scam? It's a scam because these people we talk about, Americans and the European Union and what have you, the idea of democracy in Africa does not go beyond elections. It doesn't. It doesn't. And that's why people are disappeared. People are mauled on the streets and life just continues. They continue doing business with the government that is brutalizing and molesting people. But they will tell you, no, elections were held. You went to court. The courts decided. So it's a scam. It's a scam. And in Kenya, elections provide opportunities for people to make a lot of money. And you know that. A lot of money. It's an opportunity to make a lot of money. Procurement, what have you. Our elections are damn expensive. There's the second most expensive elections in the world. Count how many countries we have in the world. Second most expensive. Last time, which could have gone, per capita, Kenya was spending around $25 per capita. Those people who cast their votes. Whereas the countries in the region, Rwanda, where they're spending less than even $2 or $5. 25. That's a damn expensive election. But what does it give us? It gives us just funny characters who can be bought. Today, I don't like Hustler's Fund. That's Oparanya. Tomorrow, no, I didn't understand. Now I understand Hustler Fund. Oh, today, IMF and what have you should keep off Kenya. This finance bill, no, it's oppressive. You have been elected. Now, once you are nominated and appointed as
1 minute, Tristan,
head of the treasury, now you start supporting the things that you are speaking against. We realize elections have not changed our lives. So, Pepita, I'm saying it's imperative that we be critical. God created rational beings. He did not create automatons. And so to think you're actually being divine. Donations all over the world in established democracies, people care about who received money from where, because that's where corruption starts. If we don't know who gave you money, you get into office, you'll have to pay back the money. And that's where corruption starts. So for people to ask who is giving you money and what are you doing with that money, it's one way of preempting corruption. It's not a way of, asking petty questions. These governments that do very funny things with Adanis, what do you think? Do you know who gave William Ruto money? You know. And so those deals that government does and what have you, isn't it part of payback? Please, let us not be like automatons, please. Honestly speaking, it's not in our best interest. Otherwise, it's futile asking anybody to account for anything if we think accountability is not important. Thanks, Pepita. I yield.
All right. Thank you so much, Western Shilao. Always a great pleasure to hear from you. I want to create some space on the speaker panel. So if you have finished your submission as well, I'd like to rotate like 2-3 more speakers on the requests as well. I see Victor Oria is on the line. How are you doing, Victor?
Yes, I'm good, PP. And I have to confess that those two last speakers,
Ukombali, remove the Bluetooth device.
I don't have Bluetooth.
Mic yako iko mbali. Hebu reconnect
Okay. What are
immediately.
you immediately?
Alright. So while you're waiting for Victor, let's hear Luca. Victor will come right after Luca. Luca, how are you doing?
Hello, Pipita.
Jambo.
Habari ya jioni.
Mzuri sana ndugu yangu.
Yeah, I hope everyone is fine. Sorry for the friend that we lost. Pole sana to the family, to the wife, and to his children. Pole sana. It's not good to lose someone that's young. Now, me, I've been listening a lot to, what is going on in the country. And I'm very surprised, people questioning Morara too much. Seen another space where they are asking whether he's they were saying Morara is a circus monkey. What huongea vitu mingi, but at the end of the day we need to ask ourselves, what is Morara? Is what Morara doing the right thing? Is Morara 100% perfect? Morara is a human being just like you and me. And none of us is 100% perfect. The only person who's been ever perfect in this world was Jesus Christ, because he was God. But we as human beings, we are not perfect. We make mistakes. And we should expect that Morara will make mistakes. The best we can do is to rectify him wherever he's made mistakes. And because of these tiny, tiny mistakes maybe Morara has made, like the accountability issue, I have seen a crop of individuals now coming up and, they are saying, this is the time we get the torches, we get the pitchforks. Let's go witch hunt this guy. And I think that is wrong. There are some achievements Morara has done and he's brought change into our lives, like the civic education part. You'll have to agree with me that Morara has done a very good work. Like, going into all those, the Auditor General reports and getting that information to us and sharing it with us. Even telling us that, this information is out there, go check on it, you yourselves. That is very, very important. And even awakening us to start looking into these projects. I think that is something Morara has done very well. Morara is even younger than me, but he's achieved that very well. He even awakened me. Me, myself, I started looking into these issues. I started civic education, educating even people like my father. Yeah, and it's good. And there is this issue, this burning issue of where we saw a video of Morara getting, it was with those political leaders like William Ruto, this governor for Kisii, there was Gloria Roba next to him. Yes, it raises questions on Morara's character, but we need to realize that even in other areas, we've seen good people who are at some stage involved with people who are not of good behavior. Or people decided that today they were in this party, tomorrow they've decided to move to another. For example, it is said in the before 2000 or there, let's say back by several years back, Trump was in the Democratic Party. Then you realize that there's something this party is not doing for the people. He decided to switch to the Republican Party. Now, can we crucify Trump for doing that? Can we crucify him that he was involved with the Democrats? I don't think so. Even in the Bible, David was was working in the palace with King Saul. David was the one who was playing a musical instrument to calm down the king. So are we supposed to say David was a bad individual because he was involved with King Saul? Malema, Julius Malema, that we all like, used to be in the ANC. The moment he discovered that ANC is not doing things, it's out of track of whatever they were doing from the time of independence, he decided to move out from EFF. Can we now say that EFF is, going to behave the same way as ANC has been behaving? I don't think so. Even our next door neighbors in Uganda, BCJ was a personal doctor of Museveni. Then, with the time we discovered that Museveni is, not treating people well. Some of his policies are not good. He decided to move out. He decided to vie against Museveni, stand against and oppose Museveni. So these things are normal. It's very hard to find someone who's really in one place throughout their lives. By this I mean, people like George Bush, who was forever a Republican, born in a Republican family, grew up all the way, became
Mimi
a
sipendangi
Republican
hizi stori
president.
zenye mnatuambia sijui ya John McKennedy. Sikia Luka, hizi stori za sijui John McKennedy, sijui John nani McMende. Tuambie vitu za kuhusu Kungu Karumba, Fred Kubai, vitu zinatu affect hapa, na nataka kusomea kitu before you go off. Luka and nothing. I am not asking perfection from Orara or any other leader. I am asking for transparency, honesty, and goodwill to serve my country and her people. Listen to the question, guys. Wacheni kuruka, hakuna mtu anapigana na huyu kijana. Tunauliza transparency. Unanielewa? Kitu yenyewe mwenyewe anasema. Why is it hard for him to do what he say?
Okay, I was giving those examples to show that, these things happen. It is not that it's happening to Morara alone. It's been happening elsewhere. Yeah, so we need to understand. Okay, you were asking that I give an example in this country. We know of Kibaki. Kibaki was a vice president too, boy. Then at some point he discovered that for me to change this country, I need to oppose Moi. I need to, come up with the fresh ideas. So I think it's common. It happens. Even Ruto used to work with Raila, and he decided to move out and seek another office without Raila. So I think Morara is doing a good work. There are places he's making mistakes. There are places he's done good work. We need to look at that good work, appreciate it, and practice it. Even people like Casmuel, everyone has contributed in this revolution, and we really appreciate. Where someone has done good work, we need to appreciate it. Where someone is maybe wrong, then we need to criticize them. So you, the individuals who are criticizing Morara, as well praise him wherever he's right. Thank you. Yield me mic.
All right. And I want to say this. Nobody is criticizing. Unajua mkisema criticizing, hapo mnakosea. Kuna kitu inaitwa demand for accountability. Yenye imefanya mpaka sisi sasa ndo tumeenda hadi kwa street. Tumeambia hawa politicians wetu mnafanya tabia mbaya. Unajua tunataka tujue the word diction. Ya kwamba this guy, right, was doing his own thing with his money, all right? Hata mimi nikianza home run with Pipi, I started with my equipment and all stuff like that. Unacheki. But then again, he came out to the people and said, yo, if you can support me to buy this, akaeka bill of quantities ndo hii ya vitu. From that moment, that project stopped being a Morara project and started being a people project. And if it's a people project, what does that mean? The people deserve to know. Wale walitoa 50K, wale walitoa 500.
Social conversations, engaging topics on your phone anywhere. This is Home Run with Pippi.
It's 2 minutes past 7 p.m. East African time, ladies and gentlemen. Time is flying today. Kwa sababu watu wako charged ama ni nini. But thank you so much for tuning in hapa hivi kwenye Home Run with Pipi. Of course, it's Friday edition. We come here from 4 p.m. all the way to 9 p.m. And today we're just catching up on the Kenya I Want. There's a lot of issues we are talking about. But of course, the one that is killing the movement is the issue of money. So we need to talk about the matter of accountability and when it comes to the use of money. I'm going to bring in the next set of speakers, but I also want to remind you that you can subscribe to our channel, HRWP on YouTube. We are currently standing at 283 subscribers. You can subscribe it. The link is on the Jumbotron, shared on the Jumbotron. And also, Homeland with PP lights are kept on by you. If you like what I'm doing, of course, 0721948229 is the number where you send in your support. Acha nipatiane shout out. Leo, yani kwa kila tip mpaka ipigwe shout out. Jinsi kumekauka, mtu anaweza sema what Pipi alipata tip alafu akanyamaza. Let me shout out to you, John, of course, for that. Thank you so much for your tip. I want to say Victor, hebu niongeleshe nikusikie kama uko hapo.
Can you hear me now?
Now, yeah. Sasa uko better. Talk to us.
Yeah, yes. I personally don't like assassinating people's character. But those two people who spoke before Luca, hogwash, completely hogwash. Apart from a few good points here and there, nonsense, kabisa. You know, in this country, tuko na tabia ingine mbaya sana. The same people who are now castigating Morara, calling him names and saying, oh, you need to be accountable. Juzi, the roof ya airport imetengenezwa na 300 million. Sikusikia wakipiga nduru. I didn't hear of them. There's a lot of money getting lost, even in NHIF and nini. Siku gani tumewaona hata wameenda kwa barabara wamesimama na placards wanasema, don't steal my NHIF money. Yeah? Counties are a bygone conclusion. Some counties go dry. When have I ever had them? Hata kwanza hiyo Nakuru County where Clifford or Clinton is coming from. Too much corruption happening there. Siku gani ni tumemuona hata kwa news yeye peke yake ana shout alafu anatuambia sijui organize football tournaments alafu to do civic education. Yeye ameorganize ngapi? This character, hii ni character ya house niggers. I'm sorry to use that term, house niggers. We are so conditioned by our misery that if somebody pops up and tries to do something just to awaken our senses, we find that one thing that can bring him down, and that is what we pin it on. What is stopping these people from saying, see now Morara has an office there. What is stopping them from going to that office and telling them, one, you know, you're doing a good thing and we really like it. But to make it better, you know what you should do? Get 1 or 2 auditors so that every single cent you get, you make sure the public knows and find a way of communicating to the public. We received 100,000, tumenunua viti 50,000, tumenunua meza 5,000, tumenunua vitambaa, ingine ni ya kulipa some workers here who are doing ABCD. But no, we don't want that. We don't want to do work. We want to sit on our sofa sets saizi tukiangalia Gachagua na Sam Gituku while we spew venom or we cast aspersions on the character of somebody else. And this is the sole reason why since independence, these sole characters who have always come up and tried to tell Kenyans about the evils happening in government, we find that one thing that we know they did a mistake and we beat them down. It didn't start with Morara. It did not start with Morara. It goes as early as 1963. Ukianza kuangalia historia ya Kenya, and that you playbook your state. That's the state's playbook every other time. So I'm asking us to have like a change of mindset rather than just questioning for the sake of questioning so that uonekane that you are clever or that you love Kenya more than everybody else. Why don't you do something? Do something yourself. If Morara had not woken up and created this vampire diaries thing, you know, life will still be going on. Si maisha ingekuwa tunaendelea. Hata saizi tungekuwa tunaongelea Morara. Labda leo ingekuwa Friday tungekuwa tunaongelea the bold and the beautiful ama any other thing that we could have been talking about. But hii ndio character lazima tuache. Inafaa tujengane. Tujengane. Just like hata mimi niko na shida zangu, niko na weaknesses zangu, niko na my own vulnerabilities and so on. And Nowhere, and I'm sorry, maybe I'm wrong, but nowhere have I heard Morara saying that he wants to be president or he wants to be a governor. Nowhere have I heard that. These are
Ebu check your
created.
facts, Victor Bwana. Check
No,
your facts.
that's why
Check
I'm
your
saying.
facts. Amesema he wants to be president. Wacha wewe.
Okay.
Check your facts.
Okay. Mimi hiyo sijasikia. So I'm talking from, it's a subjective opinion here. Okay, if he said he wants to be president, well and good. That's the ambition that he has. But now we want to put Morara on a higher pedestal when we are the same people who elected ICC inductees in this country. We elect murderers in this country every day without even questioning anything. But simply because one of us has just come up, sasa tumeanza kufungua doors hapa, pale, hapa, kule, nini. I mean, how do we expect to make progress if the very people who are trying to awaken our senses, wake us up from this, a slumber yenye tuko ndani, we find minute things to bring them down. Mimi napenda the kind of criticism he's receiving is destructive criticism. Criticism is not bad, but let it be some sort of criticism that inamjenga. Unaona? Kama sasa wewe pipi nikisema, by the way, for example, this is an example. I'm not saying this is what is happening. Let's say, for example, if your space had vulgarities and just tribal hatred and blah blah vitu kama hizo. Ndakwambia, by the pipi uko na following. But maybe try to tone down the language. Unaona hiyo na kujenga. But nikienda kwa another platform and niseme huyo pipi hiyo show yake ni ya kijinga nini sikujengi na kuharibu. Unaona? Because we are all on a learning process. Hakuna mtu perfect hapa. So rather than throwing those cheap jibes at Morara and this and that. Wenye wako Kenya, mimi siko Kenya, but wenye wako Kenya. Wenye wako Kenya, organize yourself. Organize yourself, mpate hata ka 14 sita matatu na muende kwa hiyo ofisi yake hapo Kahawa. Na mkae chini na yeye na mmwambie, by the way, let's do this and this and this and that. Because tumesema hii ni kitu yetu. And PP wewe umesema that thing has ceased being his personal thing. It's now a collective public thing. So it means we have a right over it. So badala ya kutupa jabs hapa na hayuko, let's go to his office and sit down with him. Akikataa kutusikia, then now that becomes a second thing. Okay, tulienda kwa ofisi yake alikataa kutusikia. Now we have a right to now start questioning. But none of us here has probably even met Morara physically. None of us. Hakuna hata mtu labda ameshake mkono yake hapa. But whether we are in Wajir or we are in Turkana or we are in Nambale or Busia or Kuria, we want to behave as if we know him better and we know better what ails Kenya. Easy. He's put his life in danger. Si jana ndo tumekuwa tukipiga nduru hapa that free Bob Njagi and the two other brothers, Aslani brothers. 32 days wamekuwa captives. 32 days. Yet, even in the spaces I've been, I've heard Mwabili Ngodi telling Morara that in government spheres, there's even fear of arresting him. Because arresting him or doing something to him could just be that thing that takes the country down. So, inamaanisha, this is now one of us. Because Morara is not speaking about that I want to go inside there and make money for myself. He's saying that, hii barabara ukiweka 50 million, wacha hii barabara ikuwe ya 50 million. Isikuwe barabara ya 50 million na tukikuja hapa, haijamalizwa, contractor amelipwa, na hakuna barabara. So that is what we should be engaging on. Ili tujenge hii Kenya wote. Lakini sasa hata wewe pipi ukiamka useme leo Mungu amekubariki hata ile tuseme sports pesa jackpot hiyo 300 million imeingia mfukoni na useme mimi sasa nataka kuanza civic education. Na of course this is not something you've been doing. You learn, hata wewe mwenyewe umekuwa ukisema kwa hii space that this is not something you ever thought you'd do, but you've been learning as you grow. So Morana pia ameanza tu jani juzi. He is learning as he grows. Yeah? Why do you want him to be Jesus? Yeah? Tunataka kuwe mweupe kama pamba. Yeah? Na wale watu ambao inafaa ya mlanding. Wale watu
Victor.
Yeah?
1 minute land.
Yes, na land. Wale watu inafaa to hold to account We just had a deputy president in the city of Nairobi spewing tribal hatred in the middle of the city. Mchana, hata watoto wanatoka shule wanasikia. I have not heard anybody say anything about that. But God forbid, Morara amekula shilingi 5. Now that can bring the whole country down. Come on, guys, we should do better. Hii character ya house niggas tuache. Otherwise, tutabaki kwa hii matope forever and ever. Asante.
Mimi ningependa kusema ukweli, Victor. I think ni kama tusomani nyi wote. Nobody's criticized. Okay, apart from for myself. And I would like to say categorically inside of this space that I have reached out to Morara on 2 or 3 different occasions via Twitter, and my texts have gone unanswered. So easy for me asking. I already tried to reach the guy to come to this space in particular to answer the questions of the people, and he didn't show up. Sasa si tutaenda kwa ofisi yake.
Yeah,
unajua. And here's the thing. You know,
let me just ask you one question, PP.
Has he put out the location of the office?
Si amesema ni Kahawa, si ni pale ni Kahawa Sukari. I used to live in Kahawa. You know where that place is. It's not in Somalia, ni hapa tu Nairobi.
Next week haitaisha kama sijafika kwa hizo ofisi. Nikikosa kufika huko niite umbwa. I'll go there because personally I want to talk to him. I feel like yes, he needs the way he is working is doing good, okay? But one of the ways, you see the way Hanifa was being hounded every time, to audit. And when she did it, it worked. Yeah, so wenye wanaongea sasa kila mtu anaonekana ni malicious. Ukweli ama uongo? Wenye wanaongea sasa ni malicious. That is the point. No. Victor, we need to foster you cannot tell me eti amezaliwa jana. He knows accountability. Why? He is talking about accountability. Hata wewe bwana, tukue serious. He knows about accountability as a guy because he is talking about the auditor report. Ngoja kidogo. He's talking about the auditor report. Which means he knows that when you handle public money, you have to be accountable for it. Unanielewa? Yes. Now that he came to the people. Ngoja kidogo, Victor, usilete mambo ya Biblia. Mnanikasirishanga ni story ya Biblia. Ngoja, just a minute. Huyu jamaa alileta bill of quantities. Unanielewa? Alikuja akatuandikia kwamba anataka speaker ya 100,000, nani ya 20,000, 50,000 iende kwa gari ifungwe na harness. This is a bill of quantities. He came to the people with a bill of quantities. The people wakatuma pesa. Mpaka siku fulani M-Pesa ikajaa. To max M-Pesa in Kenya, you have to fill it with 500,000 shillings. So meaning at some day, Ali raise 500,000, maybe the next day 500,000, and so on and so forth. Okay? He needed about 1.2 million, right? He is now talking about getting a political party and all that. Sindio? Mimi sina issue na what he is doing. Unanielewa, Victor? My issue here is you received funds from the people. You are showing us ndo hii gari. Sahi Victor, nikikwambia sahi nataka kununua kiti ya studio for example. Unanielewa? Nataka kiti ya studio. Nikwambie kiti ya studio ni 30,000 shillings. Ni unitumie 30,000 shillings. Nikutumie picha ya kiti. Does that mean nimetumia 30,000 shillings?
Sasa ndio maana nasema badala ya ku because